Hey, what's up? I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here with my third quarter of the year quarterly favorites for the third quarter. These are books that I've read in the last 3 months and really fucking loved, and I'd like to tell you about them. So buckle up. First here, oh my god, this book is a tough read. This is American Psycho by Bret, Easton, Ellis, and this is about a man named Patrick Bateman who is a psycho? I don't know. He's a really fucking messed up dude. And this is about his just daily life, his inane life. And this book just kind of makes you feel bonkers when you read it. He is a terrible person, but he is so obsessed with things like music and fashion and things like that, and he just goes into like these really like crazy minute detail about these sort of things. And not just that, but like his profession, they're always eating, so it's like there's lots of food descriptions and stuff about who's seeing who and who's going where and what club they're going to and what music they're listening to. And it's just like his day-to-day life, but also like he's murdering people, and it's terribly gruesome. So yeah, I mean, this is like one of the roughest books I've read, and I don't like intentionally seek out things that I know are going to be shocking, but so I mean, you know, what shocks me might not shock a seasoned like extreme horror reader, but this was extreme for me. It was bananas. It was crazy. I enjoyed it. I don't know what else to say about it. You know, there's not a ton of plot. It's really just like his day-to-day shit and him murdering people. So there's that. Then I think this is the only vintage on my list this time, but this is Crawlspace by Herbert Leiberman. I've talked about this a few times lately. I just did a video where I talked about this, but this is about a couple named Albert and Alice Graves. They are older. They live in like a cute little cottage outside of like a small town. They just mind their own business. They do whatever the fuck they want to do, you know? Until one day they need their furnace serviced, and the man who comes to service it, he's young. His name is Richard. He looks like he's so young, he probably doesn't have like a lot of work history, you know what I mean? But he's nice enough, and everything is normal without exchange. But then they start to suspect that maybe Richard is coming back to their house uninvited and staying in a crawl space in their basement, and things get so strange in this story. And I say this every time I talk about this, but I think the strangest part to me and what made this really compelling is their reactions to everything Richard does. Like, some of it is very, very strange, like stranger than just living in a crawl space, you know what I mean? And their reaction to it is not normal. I would shit my pants if I found out somebody was living in my crawl space, you know what I mean? But that's not exactly what they do. So this is a good story to read yourself and just kind of let it unfold in front of you, and it's weird. It's really weird. Then, what is definitely going to be one of my very favorites of the entire fucking year. This is Blackmouth by Ronald Malfi. This is about a man named Jamie, and his mother has recently died, and Jamie has a younger brother who has Down syndrome, and now, you know, he needs to figure out what him and his younger brother are going to do. He was kind of estranged from the family for some time. He has some issues with alcohol that he's, I don't know, kind of trying to get through, or consequences of being an alcoholic he's trying to run away from, kind of. And now he's got to help his brother, which isn't, he loves his brother, but it's not something he particularly wants to do. But the set of murders has happened, and he catches wind of it, and it reminds him of something that happened in his childhood. So him and his childhood friends, the people who experienced this trauma kind of with him, get together and they get to the bottom of what's going on. This is such a great book. It is a great, it's kind of like in the style of It, where there is parts where you're following the adults and then parts where you're looking back in the past with the adults as children, and you're building up to like the event. You don't really quite know exactly what happened, but you're building up to it. You've got these parallels with like the past and the present that are happening, and this like weird almost cosmic magic, which isn't typically my thing. Like, I don't really love cosmic horror, but I think that it is so interesting in this book, and it's a little lighter, I think, on the lighter side of cosmic stuff. Like, that's not the entirety of the story. So yeah, this is a great story. It is cinematic. Like, if this doesn't get opted to be a fucking movie or something, I'm going to light something on fire. It is just, it's so good. This book was made to be a movie. It's so fucking good. I love this book so much. Then I have Vultures, which is the very last Miriam Black book. This is by Chuck Wendig, and there's a couple here that I've talked about so many times, but you know, it's got to be included. It was one of my favorites. This is the conclusion to the Miriam Black series. Miriam is, she has this power where if she touches somebody, she can see their death. And this has changed her life. It's made everything for her basically miserable. She's made a lot of really bad life choices because of this. She's done some bad things, and she, you know, eventually kind of tries to redeem herself. So this is the very last one. I don't want to tell you anything more than that because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who might want to read this series, but this is so good. This is absolutely one of my most favorite series of all time. I don't get through many series. I DNF so many series. So when I tell you that this is one of my favorites, this is really good. I love this series so much, and I hope I can convince somebody to pick it up because I just loved it so much. Next is 2 books. This is volumes 3 and 4 of Blood on the Tracks by Shozu Oshimi. I've read 4 installments of this, right? And I'm still like really not quite sure exactly what's happening, but I have a feeling that something as bad is brewing. You know what I mean? This is about Seiichi, and he is like, I don't know, 12, 13 years old. But there's something very strange and wrong with his relationship with his mother, and I don't think that this is very evident to him until something tragic happens in his family, and now, my gosh, everything's just changed, and his mom is acting very weird. Oh boy, this has been such a great, like, intense read. The artwork is great. It really focuses on everyone's emotions, so you just get a really clear feel of what's going on and how everybody's feeling about it, and this has just been such a great, like, weird, I don't even know if it's quite horror, but like, it's a very weird manga series so far. Very strange. Then I also have books 2 and 3 of the Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. This is The Dream Thieves and Blue Lily, Lily Blue. This is a series about this group of teenagers who probably wouldn't have normally gotten together with each other as friends, but you know, circumstances have made that happen, and they're looking for the tomb, the burial site of a Welsh king. And there is a lot of strange magic in this book. It's just so creative. I love this book so much. I love these books so much. I've only got one left, and I'm going to be so sad when the series is done. Another series that it's like, I don't get through many series. I don't choose to continue on with miniseries, but this one is so good. Then last but certainly not least is Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. This is a crime thriller, which is not typically my thing, but his writing is so, like, emotionally traumatizing. Oh my god, like, his books just make you feel very sad, and they're so good. So this is about a man named Bug who has gotten out of his life of crime. He used to be one of the most well-known getaway drivers in his area, and now he just owns like a mechanic shop, and he is trying to make ends meet, and things are at this point in the book really hard for him financially, and he's really worried about making sure that his family can survive, you know? So he decides to do one last job, just to, you know, make sure he doesn't lose his shop, make sure like his kids are fed and clothed, things like that. And oh boy, things don't go well after that. So yeah, this is a great suspenseful story. It makes you feel so many feelings about the characters, Bug especially, and his family. You just grow to love them, and the ending is a little ambiguous, which I like. You're not really sure where people stand at the end of it, and I think that makes it all the more interesting and makes it feel like real life, you know what I mean? So this was so great. I also loved his book Razor Blade Tears. I read that last year. It was maybe my favorite book of the year. So this was also excellent. So good. I would definitely recommend picking his stuff up if you like any sort of, I don't know, thrillery, emotional stuff. I don't know. It was so good though. Well, those are my quarter 3 favorites. Let me know what you read in the last 3 months that you really loved. I'd love to hear. Let me know if you have any thoughts about these, if you loved any of them like I did. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.